Sure, good to go, ma.
Ma'am, shall we start the program?
Good morning. Are you asking me? I'm good to go.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. On the behalf of Computer Technology and Information Technology Department, Higher Education Club, I am happy to welcome you for the webinar on an overview of higher education in abroad and job opportunities. I welcome our resource person, Ms. Deepa Srinivasan, Branch Head of IDP Education, Coimbatore. I welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Our resource person have nearly 18 years of experience in overseas education, handling universities in UK, Singapore, Australia, USA, Canada, New Zealand, Dubai and Malaysia. She is a certified Australia, UK and Singapore counselor, and she have placed many students in leading universities like NUS and NTU in Singapore and King's College, UCL, Nottingham, Manchester universities in UK as well. Prior to this, she had 7 years of experience in leading hospitals and laboratories in managerial levels, and as well as she is a graduate from Jimper, Pondicherry. She totally have 25 years of cross-cultural experience in various sectors such as hospitals, retail and education in various domains. Dear students, we have such an eminent resource person today. Make use of this session. Thank you. Now I hand over the session to our resource person.
Yeah. Thanks a lot from the Computer Science and IT department. And a warm welcome and good morning to all of you. Hope you're all fine. And not to bore you down, I will start with the session. Maybe I will, request you to ask the questions at the end of the session. And also, in case you have any doubts, just keep it in mind. So we will discuss at the end of the session. Thanks a lot. And over to the session. I'm sharing my screen. Hope you're able to see my screen, right? Okay. So we are from IDP Education, and I am Deepa here, the head of IDP Coimbatore, as well as I have with me my colleague, Mr. Dinesh, who's taking care of the business development part, and he's a manager of business development. So regarding IDP Education, you would all have heard about IELTS examination. IELTS is International English Language Testing System. This is an international English language exam, which is conducted all around the world, and it is conducted by IDP in India and jointly with British Council in other parts of the world. So today's session would be regarding the contents like why you need to study abroad, what are the questions you would have, that is, what are the exams you're going to take for studying abroad, what will be the fee structure, what are the other related questions you have, and who we are, that is IDP, about IDP, how we are going to help you with the study abroad options, and the popular destinations IDP deals with, and how we can help you throughout the process of applying for abroad universities and getting a visa and getting various other help like insurance payments, about the accommodations, about the travel arrangements. All these things will be discussed in this session. So why should you study abroad? This is a question asked by most of the students to me when I go for any presentation. This is because there's a lot of things inbuilt with studying abroad option. It's just not you go abroad and study over there. It is like gaining new knowledge about the new technologies. Not only that, we also meet and get to know about other culture, people from other nationalities, other countries, so that we expand our horizons. Just not in India, we do go abroad and we get to know each other from other countries also. It's just not studying. If in case you're going for say US, you're not just meeting the US people, you are meeting people from different countries. That is one other option where you get to meet with a lot of people. And next to that would be gaining a very good return of investment. That is, whatever you're invested for studies, you get a return of investment. And if you want to stay there and become a citizen of that particular country, which is also very, very possible in certain countries. So those things also we will be seeing at. And what are the career opportunities post your studies in that particular country, that also will be dealt with in the studies, in the slides. And we have a short video why you need to study abroad. I'm just playing that video now. Hope you're able to see that. So these are the things which you get to get as a takeaway when you're going for a study abroad option. So then next to it will be the questions. So if I plan to study abroad, what are the other things I need to do? That is, what are the preparations I need to do will be the next question. So that for those questions will be also answered in the presentation. That is, should I take an examination for abroad studies? Should I go ahead and do a lot of presentations, and how to prepare my SOPs, letter of recommendations? So what are the kind of documents the universities or the abroad universities do look forward from us, and how we get an admission, how we get a scholarship, and what are the fee structures, and also that what are the employment opportunities based on the countries which I decide to go and settle down. So these are the questions put forth by my students usually. So to that, we do have a short video again. What are the questions? So I'm just playing it out. So this is the questions usually put forth by my students when we look out to study abroad. Mainly, the students might ask which country to choose. This is very, very important, because just like that, you do not choose the country. Based on your course which you have taken in your bachelor's, if I will get the job opportunities pertaining to this course, you need to choose the country. And some people come over and say, ma'am, my sister is there, my brother is there, my one of my relative is there, or my friend is there, so I want to go to the. Please do not do that, because I would never encourage, because it is mainly because the course which you select should be of offering you a job opportunity post your studies, wherein you will be getting a return of investment after you have invested a lot of money in your studies there. So that is very, very essential. And after that, if your career is going to be in India or in abroad, accordingly we need to choose the country of the choice, because the economy of the country matters the most, the political situation matters, and the country's resources, that is If a country is good at mining, then accordingly you need to choose that. If a country is good at agriculture, accordingly you need to choose that. Or if a country is good at business courses, yes, then according to that you need to choose a country. So this is very, very essential. You sit with a person who guides you throughout the journey of applying, getting an offer, and all those things. So for that, we will be helping you. And we are from IDP Education, and who we are is again, a short video. We are a global leader in international education service, and it's one of the company which is present globally. We are not only present in India, we are present all around the world. So wherever you go in IDP, you will find office over there. So and we are present in 120 plus offices in around 30 countries. And we are partnered to over 700 leading education institutions. That is, the universities abroad have tied up with us. So you need not pay anything to IDP. Everything is free, of course. That is from the application to the visas. So you need to pay the fees directly to the university only. So IDP reserves, free of service, for all of your preparation to study abroad. So preparing the SOP, letter of recommendation, everything we do help you throughout the preparation of application. And we have around 1,000 plus counselors in IDP who are very much trained. They are, certified. They often go through a lot of processes. So they are, taken to the universities. They are given a lot of tests by the universities as well as by the IDP peers, so that they are well equipped with all the university knowledge, the country knowledge, the courses, the way you need to find a job over there. So they will be taking through all the process. So this will be a very good opportunity for you to get in touch with them, get to know about the universities, get to know about the countries, and also get to know about the job opportunities post your studies over there. So that is what our counselors are. I would say they are 100% equipped, and they are certified also as well. And as a company, we are listed in the Australian Stock Exchange, which makes us more credible. That is, we are a 50 years old company, and we originated from Australia because the Australian universities together, before 50 years, they wanted to send receive students to their country. So that was the reason why they started IDP. So 50% of our shares are owned by the Australian universities, and the rest 50% by the Australian government itself. And we have placed around 5 lakh students in last 50 years, which is the statistics. And also it says that every 14 minutes we place student across Australia, Canada, US, UK, New Zealand, and Ireland. So these 6 countries are catered to by us. And not only these countries have universities in other countries like Singapore, Malaysia, and Dubai. So those universities also we do have a tie-up with. Next could be you. So don't hesitate to walk into our office for a counseling session with our counselors. And what are the steps we undertake to, prepare an application and fly abroad? So these are the 7 steps which are very, very important to follow when you're going for a studies in abroad. First, as I said, select the country based on the program which you're going to select over there, and based on the economy of the country, the political situation, what are you going to do after your studies. So these 3 things are very, very essential when you're selecting a country of your study. Next to selection of a country, the selecting a program and the university is very, very essential. So there are multiple universities in particularly if you select one of the country. Say if you select US has around 4,000 to 5,000 universities in it actually. To select the best university, yes, we need to sit with their counselor. So she will be advising based on your program, which are the universities which are ranking very well, as well as they offer a lot of co-op, that is work related study option, so that when you're finishing your studies, you'll be employment ready. So those things are very much taken into consideration when we counsel a student. So selecting a program and university, it's a very, very essential step, and that would be possible without only with a counselor like our IDP counselors. After that, you need to take some admission tests. The admission tests are usually the IELTS examinations or the TOEFL examination. IELTS and TOEFL are similar. They are all English language exams. So if you're taking IELTS, it's not necessary that you need to take a TOEFL examination. And about IELTS is recognized all around the world, whereas TOEFL is not recognized with some of the countries. So I would recommend you strongly to go for an IELTS examination, because that is the only examination required by all the countries, the English language examination. If your choice is US, then you might write a GRE or GMAT based on the course you select. A GMAT is required for a management course in the US, and a GRE is required for other courses like the engineering, the STEM subjects like the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So accordingly, you need to select the examination which you're going to take. So again, do not invest a lot of money in GRE and IELTS if your choice is not US. So only if your choice is US, you need to go for the GRE as well as the IELTS examination. Otherwise, IELTS is the only choice for most of the countries. And next would be you need to submit your application. That is, the application packet consists of your academic documents, your IELTS scorecard, your passport copy, your letter of recommendation from your college, which is which you are currently studying, and also an SOP, statement of purpose. That is, it's an intent of studying. That is an essay written by you to the university stating that you have done, these are the things you have done in your bachelor's, and what you want to do in your masters, and what are the expectations from your end with the university. So this is an essay written to the university because you are virtually doing all the application process. So the university should understand what are your intentions to study in those universities. So that's the main reason they ask you to write an SOP. But please, I suggest you write on your own, because many people copy paste and come to us, which is not encouraged by most of the universities in abroad. So seek our help. We will be helping you with writing an SOP and also correcting an SOP, and also we will be submitting the SOP to this university. If in case you are offered a scholarship, that is mainly because of your academics and SOP. So be very, very careful while writing your SOP as well as submitting the application. That is because most of the universities authorize us to sign your Xerox copies, because all the documents are going to be sent in a mail or enclosed in an application portal. So in that case, they require us to see the physical original documents of your mark sheets and then attest them and then send to the university. So that attestation is very, very important. So that's the main reason I ask you to come and get in touch with us. So this submission of application at least to 5-6 universities will offer you at least an offer for 3 universities of your desired choice. So once you receive an offer from these universities, these 5 universities which you apply, then next would be to choose between the 5 university which you are going to apply, go for. So after choosing it, submit your acceptance to the university. So once you submit your acceptance, you need to pay a initial deposit amount and reserve a place for you. So once you reserve a place for you, they will be sending you a visa letter, so which enables you to apply for a visa. So for visa applying also, our counselors are well trained. They will be submitting the proper documentation required for the visa officer. So improper visa documentation submission would lead to a visa rejection, because that is very, very important step. In most of the countries, the visas are not as easy as you think. It's not like the travel visas. The study visas has a different criteria. So we need to submit certain financial documents together with the academic documents, as well as some of the IELTS scorecard. There's some require SOP, statement of purpose, like Canada and Australia, they require SOPs for visas. So for that also, we will be correcting your SOP and submitting together with the visa application. And so certain countries like the UK and US, there are interviews. It might be, for US, it's a face-to-face interview, and for UK, sometimes they go for a telephonic interview. So for this interview, we do prepare our students. We do at least have 5 to 6 mock sessions of interview. Unless and until our counselors are satisfied, they would not send you for a visa interview session. So this other process is also very, very essential part in submitting the visa, which is, I would say, the main part of it. So once you submit the visa, you get a visa grant letter to enable you to fly abroad to your desired university. So in that process also, like, preparing yourself to, go abroad. So those travel arrangements, insurance arrangement, accommodations, and whatnot. We do also have a 24/7 helpline, hot helpline, I would say. That hotline would enable you to get in touch with our own people in abroad. That is, as I said, we do have offices globally, so you can get in touch with all the people who are over there in the university or in the country also. So that is also available by IDP. So over to, as I said, the services offered. The 7-step services, yes, we do help the 7-step process, that is the course and university selection, application submission, because we do have application fee waivers for certain universities. The fee waivers you can avail with us. It's from $100 to $150 to $300 also. So this application fee would be free of cost with IDP. So that also is an offer given by you, given by us to you. And then the offer acceptance, the visa counseling, and the pre-departure orientation. This all goes free of cost. All the services go free of cost with IDP. Even if we have a tie-up with the university or not, we do help our students. That's a bigger advantage about IDP. And for US alone, the universities require physical packets of documents. That is, the documents have to be sent physically, the academic scorecards, IELTS, and the letter of recommendation. For that alone, we do charge the courier charges. It's just $6,000 for 3 universities. So this is how we are charging the students. That's it. Otherwise, all the other countries, it's all free of cost. So over to the destinations which we service. These are the 6 destinations usually we service. That is Australia, US, UK, Canada, New Zealand, and Ireland. Feel free to ask, but any other destinations also towards the end of the session, I'll be happy to help you out. And why you need to study in Australia. This is very, very important when it comes to choosing the country of a choice. So Australia, as Australia is concerned, is a very big country, the biggest island in the world, and with very, very less population, meaning that the opportunities are higher with very good resources and facilities around the country. That is, when I say about resources, Australia is a country which is famous for its grasslands. It's famous for its mining. So you would have known about Adani, who wants to invest in Australia in the mining departments. So that's how Australia is known as. The mining is immense. Mining is happening there. So engineering students get a lot of job opportunities in Australia. That is why many people, look forward to study in Australia and settle down in Australia. Being a country with a very warm climate like that of India, and not very cold or very hot, Australia is a very beautiful place to settle down, and it's a laid-back lifestyle. They call it as 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sundays off. So these are the things which are look forward for many of the people to settle down in that particular country. They've also welcomed around 6 lakh foreign students in 2018. Post to that, we had the coronavirus, so we were not able to get the proper statistics, and they were also closed for the international students. And we are now from January onwards, a country is set to open and invite the foreigners, that is the international students, to their universities. So 8 Australian universities are among the top 150 universities in the world. Say it as Monash, UNSW, University of New South Wales, they call it as University of Sydney, University of Melbourne, Australian National University. So these are the universities which are ranked in the top 100 universities in the world. And Australia ranks as one of the most popular international student destination, because as such they are known for their very good lifestyle. And the cities in Australia like Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane are supposed to be most livable cities in the world. If you see the most livable cities in the world, these 3 cities fall in that category. So that's another reason why people look forward to settle down in that particular country. An easy adaptation of Indian education system. Yes, if you belong to a 10 plus 2 plus 3 instead of 4, that is also accepted by Australian universities. And ample scholarships. In fact, most of our students got very good scholarship. Even if you're above 70% and above, certain universities come down to give around 30% scholarship from their fee structure, which involves a lot of money reduction in the fees, such as. And together with that, they offer you part-time job opportunities as well as post-study work opportunities. What about part-time job opportunities? Because many of our students do not do a part-time job opportunity once they are studying in India. But in Australia, they are allowed to do a part-time job as a student in Australia. So 20 hours per week is allowed to do as a part-time job. And they pay you around $20 per hour, meaning that is $400 are paid per week. So in that case, $1,600 are earned per month as a part-time job, from a part-time job, which means $1,600 is around equivalent to around 80,000 to 90,000 Indian rupees. So per month, you will be easily earning around $1 lakh as a part-time worker over there. So during the studies itself, you can do a part-time job, and during your vacation, you can do a full-time job, and you have something called the post-study work opportunity. What is this? Post-study work opportunity is nothing but you can stay back in the country after you're finishing your studies. If you study for a period of 2 years, you can stay back in the country for up to 4 years in Australia. Say if you're studying in Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane, you will allow to be stay for 2 more years. That is, the visa will extend up to 2 years. And if you apply for a PR and you get a PR, you can stay for, a number of years over there in Australia. In case if you're studying in a city like Adelaide or Perth, you are enabled to stay back in the country after your studies for 3 more years. The visa extension would be for 3 more years. And if you study in Darwin or Tasmania, it will be allowing you to stay back for 4 more years. So that is how they give you a post-study work opportunity. So 2 plus 2 or 2 plus 3 or 2 plus 4 will be your visa type actually if you study for 2 years in Australia. So that will give you a return of investment during your part-time studies, part-time jobs, or else your post-study work opportunities also, which will enable you to earn well and settle down or come back to India also. So, that's your option. And the qualifications are well recognized globally. They are highly, accredited by most of the accrediting bodies. Say if you're studying accounting, you're accredited by accounting bodies. If in case engineers, they are accredited by Engineers Australia, which enables you to apply for a PR in Australia also. So certain nuances you might not know. You can sit with the counselors who will say which course to select in Australia so that you get a PR, permanent residency, which will enable you to apply for a citizenship in Australia as well in the future. And it's an affordable, safe, and multicultural lifestyle because you get to meet a lot of students from different nationalities over there. And as I said, the cities are highly livable cities like Brisbane, Melbourne, and Sydney. And 500,000 of international students, are from 200 different nationalities in Australia, which makes it more of an immigrant type of country. That is, you can meet a lot of people from different countries, not alone Australians over there. So that brings us to end of Australia. Then we move towards US as a destination. Why US? US is supposed to be, a far most desired destination for most of the youths around the world because US spans 6 time zones. That is, it's a vast country which has 6 time zones. That is, unlike India, which has just 1 time zone, the US predicts of 6 time zones actually. That would make you recognize how far the country is large and wide, so that you can get a lot of job opportunities over there. And the Fortune 500 companies are all headquartered in the US, which makes it highly popular among the employees to employ themselves to those employers. So, and not only that, US universities are among the highest rated in the world. If you say Harvard, Yale, MIT, they're all in the top 10 world ranking list. And they emphasize on real world problem solving environment. That is just not theory they teach you. They have something called co-op programs. That is work while you learn. That is work related, embedded learning would be there. Main thing over there in the US, because when you're learning, they will enable you to work in those companies. And as far as I know, the professors and the lecturers are from the industry who would be teaching you practical knowledge about the job nature in that particular country. And the career opportunities, when you speak about career opportunities in the US, degrees from the United States of America are recognized well around the world, I would say, because these universities are very, very popular among the other countries also. Many US schools also offer research and internship opportunities. As I said, the co-op programs are supposed to be internship opportunities. And if you're going for a STEM course, that is a science, technology, engineering, and mathematics course, it's not management, please note it, it's mathematics. So if you're going for these courses, the STEM courses in the US, you will be enabled for a 1 year of OPT, that is called as optional practical training, which will be an internship which is provided by the university in the company. And if you're very good at it, you will be employed in the same company, and the visa also will extend for 2 more years. So that would be a very good opportunity for you getting an employment post your studies in the US. And if you're going for a management course, it's 1 year of stay back is allowed in the US. And the diverse experience, you can make friends lifelong because of the variety of cultures. You have many people coming and studying in the US, so you will meet a lot of people from different countries. And the country as such is very, very vast, as well as the universities are also very large and huge, so that you have a lot of attractions around your university and the country. American campuses, as I said, offer supportive stuff. So if in case a student is finding difficult to study, or they are not able to cope up with the portions, yes, you can seek to your lecturers, your fellow students who are already studying over there, to know about the in-depth knowledge about the subject, because they are very, very helpful. And also you have a choice to choose between the courses, the modules, your lecturers, etc., and also the timing of your lecture. So it's a lot of a flexible environment in the US. And you can make friends from all over the world and experience a variety of culture, as I said. So moving to the most popular destination, which is the UK. And UK is very well known for its studies, because we follow the British pattern of education, and Great Britain is supposed to be the inventor of most of the courses. And in UK, you name a course, you have it there. That's what is very much good about the UK universities. And again, the UK universities are featured in the world ranking list. In the top 10 list, you can find Oxford, Cambridge, UCL, Imperial College London. So these are the highly ranked universities in the UK. And the internationally recognized universities and qualifications, yes, the qualifications are recognized internationally. And to that, the master's is just 1 year in the UK, with certain universities allowing you a 1 year of internship inbuilt with their courses also are there. And after your studies, you can stay back in the country for 2 more years. So the course, if you're studying a course of 1 year, you get a 2 years of post-study work opportunity in the UK. And they have a very strong research infrastructure. If you think about the universities in the UK, there are universities which are called as the Russell Group of Universities. What is meant by Russell? Russell Group of University means they are research intense universities. They spend a lot of money on the research. So that allows you to go forward to study a PhD also over there in the US. So if some students might come and ask me, ma'am, I have a research portfolio now itself with me, should I go for research after my bachelor's? Yes, you can go for a master's by research program, which is called as a MRes program in the UK, which allows you to do a research jointly with your course, and your publications, everything, etc., would be published in the UK journals as well. Your scholarship and financial support, yes, they are known for a lot of scholarships. The scholarship are abundant. The Great Britain Scholarship, British Council Scholarship, Chevening Scholarship, and the Commonwealth scholarships are very, very highly, highly valued, and they are offered to many of the students. There are some scholarship called the Developing India Solution Scholarship, which is offered only to Indian students also as well. Again, the multicultural experience, yes, you get to meet a lot of people from different parts of the world. And the financial support and scholarships available for international students is plenty. And the REF classified 30% of the research. That, as I said, research qualification of the university is classified by the REF. So they classified as 30% of the research are world leading, and 46% as internationally excellent with the UK universities. So that brings us end of the UK session. So over to Canada. Again, this is becoming a very, very, very popular destination, I would say, because Canada is supposed to be a second home to people who go and migrate to Canada, because Canada offers a lot of PR opportunities, a permanent residency opportunity. Why do they offer? This is the next question asked by most of the students. Because their countrymen are very, very less, and those countrymen who live in Canada or in the aging population. So the country wants young people to come in and build the nation. That's the main reason they welcome a lot of immigrants from different parts. That too, knowledgeable immigrants are highly, welcomed in Canada, because their economy, they think that is going to be boosted by the immigrants from the other countries. So that allows you to get a PR easily in Canada, because you study for a period of 2 years in Canada, you have a 3 years of stay back. Within that period, you apply for a PR and you get a PR, permanent residency, which allows you to stay in a number of years in the country. And together, you also can apply for a citizenship in Canada. This citizenship, what does it do? If you get a citizenship of US, Canada, Australia, what is the main purpose of getting a citizenship is you can travel to different parts of the world without a visa, and you will be enabled to work in those countries if you get a work permit over there in those countries. I say, for example, you get a Canada citizenship, you can travel to the US and work there in the US, because US visa, getting a citizenship of US, that is a green card of US, would take a longer time, whereas Canadian citizenship is, a bit faster and easier. So many people take that route to, settle down in the US. So get a Canada citizenship and go for the US employers. So that is one particular reason why people look forward to go to Canada, get a citizenship over there. Quality education with affordable tuition fee. Yes, when you compare to other countries, Canada offers a lesser tuition fee and the quality of education is also incomparable. And wide range of specialized courses, again, they have from welding to, arts, music, drama, design. Lot of courses are available in Canada universities. Cultural diversity, yes, lot many countries, nationalities come and study in Canada, so it makes it quite diverse in nature. And learn while you learn, yes, you can do a part-time job. All the countries offer you a part-time job, and the minimum salary earned is around 80,000 to 1 lakh per month is usually the minimum salary earned by the students as a part-time job worker over any country. And ample scholarship opportunity. Yes, this year, this 2021 intake, we had a student who went to University of British Columbia with 100% scholarship with the living expenses and funding for his airfare also as well. So chances are there you can bag a scholarship, which is very good. And internship options are also plenty in most of the universities and colleges in Canada. Post-study work permits, if you study for 1 year, you will be able to stay back for 1 year. If you study for a 2 years program, you will be allowed to stay back for 3 more years. And it's almost home to you once you settle down over there. And top reasons to study in New Zealand. New Zealand, again, it's a beautiful country. As of now, they have closed their borders for international people to travel because they are looking forward for the safety of their own countrymen, because, it's a very small continent and a small island. And they do also encourage immigrants to settle down over there. By 2022 end, they should be opening for international students because they are vaccinating their people. Once they vaccinate the entire population, they're set to open. So 8 New Zealand universities are among the top 3% of the world class universities in the world, because the universities namely University of Auckland, Massey, Wellington. So these universities are highly ranked universities and are having a range of courses inbuilt with them. And centrally managed by the quality assurance system is something called the NZQA, that is the New Zealand qualification, the authority for New Zealand qualification. They give a certificate to universities that they are, audited, and they are, doing they are reviewing the course structure year by year, and they are doing a lot of, research and all those things. So this is a body like AICTE or an NBA, which accredits the universities in New Zealand. Ample scholarship opportunities are available for international students, and affordable cost again. So course would cost around 8 to 10 lakhs in New Zealand for a year, which is also affordable. And beyond while you learn, yes, you can do a part-time job and you can stay back in the country. Even if you study for a 1 year period, you can stay back for 3 more years in that country. So New Zealand qualification are internationally recognized. As I said, NZQA qualifies them. So they are highly recognized and they are highly, valued among the world. And great package for PhDs. If you're planning to do a PhD in New Zealand, it's very, very cheaper. Like they cost you around 4 lakhs per annum only. So PhDs are mostly funded basically. But then if you're not qualified for the funding, then the fee structure would be 4 lakhs per annum, and which is a 3-year program. And you get a PR also post your PhD as well. And most of the students, take these pauses also, which is almost available in New Zealand, and a country which is very, very beautiful and a peaceful country. I would say they're called as the second peaceful country in the world. Zero crime rate they've recorded last year, and it's not only peaceful. Most of the students who have gone there say that it's beautiful than Switzerland even. So that's how it is. And diverse and vibrant multicultural society. So again, if you get a PR of New Zealand, you can settle down in Australia also. And if you get an Australian PR, you can settle down in New Zealand as well. So again, Ireland. Why Ireland? Ireland is near to the UK, and it's supposed to be the best country in the European Union because their tax structure is very, very less compared to other developed countries, and that's the main reason why the Fortune 500 companies have their European headquarters in Ireland. So if you see these employers, that is the Fortune 500 companies, when they have a headquarters in a European Union, then you can understand the job opportunities provided in that particular country. And it's also a historical hub, and many thinkers like the Oscar Wilde, the Ernst Walton, John Bell, they are from Ireland because it's a beautiful country with an urban lifestyle and a countryside. So both of them coexist. So that's why Ireland is considered as a very good destination for studies and stay back. They also offer PR opportunities like New Zealand and Ireland, New Zealand and Canada, and their headquarters to some of the biggest companies, as I said before. And education institutions, you must have heard about University College Dublin, Trinity College Dublin, and UCC, University College Cork. These are the best universities in Ireland, and they also have institutions in Ireland. And the fee structure is also affordable, and those universities are also top 1% in research institutions in the world. And especially for biomedical, sciences students, pharmaceutical students, as well as computer science and IT students, this is supposed to be a very good destination because most of the IT companies have their cloud technology embedded in Ireland. So that's the main reason computer science and IT graduates look forward to study in Ireland, because the course is just 1 year and you have a 2 years of stay back. You can apply for a PR and affordable course also as well. So that brings us to the end of the destination. So these are the fee structures offered for most of the countries. You can just say, and you also have a post-study work opportunities as well as a part-time job is also offered, as I mentioned earlier. So how will you choose the right university and the right destination for yourself? Which is a very, very big decision. So just get in touch with us. We will help you do that. And apply for the relevant intakes, the fall, the spring, and the summer intake. So in case, if you miss the fall intake, that is the usual July, August, September intake, you have another intake in the next spring, that is the January, February also. So that is a flexibility offered by most of the countries' universities. So in case, as I said, if you miss by the fall intake, you can still go for the spring intake to study in that particular university. But then the preparation time should be at least 8 months before the course start date. That is, if you're starting the course in 2022 September, you should start right away for the the applications and all those other detailings. You have to start now itself. That is writing an examination, shortlisting the universities, prepare the application file, receive university assessment. All these things should be at least 8 months prior to your course start date. So be informed about the exams which you need to take. So mandatory requirements for all the destination. As I said, IELTS is the only examination required by most of the countries. And if in case you're going for US, then GRE or GMAT, based on which course you're selecting in the US, is required. So this yes for MBA is for only very few universities in Australia. They require GMAT, and again for the UK, a bit of university like the Manchester and all, they require GMAT, and New Zealand, University of Auckland requires GMAT. So very few universities require. So just we don't panicking about these examinations. Again, about the IELTS examination, which is the only requirement. IELTS is a worldwide recognized examination. It's an international English language testing system. And this is, as I said, the most popular English language test in the world. Opens doors to academic as well as professional opportunities. So if you're going for a study purpose, you need to go for the academic IELTS. If you're going for a job purpose to these countries, you need to write a general IELTS examination. And the skills which are tested are usually the reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So don't be panicking about these skills. It's just like, speaking, they will be asking you to speak to your, examiner for a short while. And for listening, you will be given an audio to listen and ask to write the questions on the paper. And if it's reading and writing, they will be asking you to write essays or letter writing or comprehensions like passages would be given and ask you to write. But then prepare yourself well, because you would be tested very deeply for IELTS examination. And as I said, it's accepted in around 10,000 organizations in around 40 countries, 3 million test takers per year. And it's delivered both in paper and computer. In Coimbatore, paper-based test is conducted thrice a month, and computer-delivered test center is also available in Coimbatore. So you can touch base with us because we conduct the IELTS examination, IDP as such. So you can avail of the services for IDP IELTS examinations also with IDP. So around 5 lakh happy students and their testimonials. Yes, you can just go through one of the testimonials of our student.
My name is Lavanya, and where do I start with? I would like to start with IDP is the best. So initially, when I was skeptical between Australia and US education, one of my friends suggested to come to IDP and go through the counselors, get to know them, and see what they can do for you. Because as I'm the only daughter for my parents, they were really scared as to only daughter is going to US. How is she going to be there? How she's going to stay there? So I brought my parents to IDP. I made them meet my counselor. The counselor gave them the assurance that this place is actually good and it is safe for a student to learn. Thank you IDP for all the support, care, and all the constant, bugging you up every 10 times a day, but you still handle me with patience. I would like to thank IDP for all the love and care they have shown me and all the support. I have referred a lot of my friends who have joined IDP already, and I will be referring some more as well throughout this journey. Thank you, IDP. Thanks a lot.
So you can book a free counseling session. You can visit our nearest office, or you can also log into our Zoom link, which will be sent in the chat box. So it's all free only. As I said, the consultation and the application preparation and the visas and all. So just jump into a Zoom link, which is open from 10 to 5 every day except Sundays. You can meet with our counselors. You just need to say that you're from Coimbatore and you need to just speak to our counselors. That's it. And you can also follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, as well as the Instagram pages, so that you get a real-time updates. There are a lot of faculty speeches. What are the courses you need to select? What are the courses going to be upcoming in the future? And what are the facilities inbuilt in those particular universities? All these things you will get to know in our pages. Just follow them. And this is our office address. You can just log on to this website also to check all our courses and all. And again, my mobile number is also there. You can just note it down. It's 90036 and 70036, and our office landline numbers are 4411 So we are in the Mayflower building, just above IDBI Bank, near Anna statue. So in Avinashi Road. So thank you. That brings us to end of the session. And we also would like to share a feedback link so that you can also just give your feedback about the session. And over to the questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Students, if you have any queries, you can ask, ma'am.
Guys, those who are really interested to go for study abroad, I just shared the feedback link in the chat box. What you need to do is just it'll take only a minute's time. So just fill up this form so that we'll send you the presentation, today's presentations through email. And whenever any university, any meets happening, any scholarships are coming, you'll get a notification from our end. For that, what you need to do is that just fill this feedback form which I have shared in the chat box. It will take a minute's time. Whoever is interested, you just click and fill this form.
I've also sent you the address of our office. My mail ID is also there. In case if you want to ask any questions, you can just send me a mail as well, and WhatsApp as well. So any questions, guys? I'll be happy to handle all the questions, be it any country.
In case if anybody feeling shy to ask this question, maybe you can, whatever the question that you have, you can fill in this feedback form also, so that we can able to answer you in the offline as well. So I can see only 2 of you filled, 3 of you have filled so far.
Hope it was useful, the session. Just send me a yes in the chat or no. I'm also sending you the office Zoom link. So you just need to, press on the Zoom link and put the password so that you can enter our office Zoom link and meet out the counselors also for further question and replies. So should I ask any questions in that case? So Harshavardhini, what's IELTS score required for any abroad universities? Or anybody else also can answer. Just feel free to answer. So it's 6.5 band overall and not less than 6 in individual bands for getting into any of the universities in abroad. So that is, and the IELTS score is valid only for 2 years. So I would recommend you to write the IELTS examination when you're in the final year of your studies. Any questions, you can chat also. I will just wait for another 4 to 5 minutes.
Students, if you have any questions, ask or type in the chat box. Ma'am, one student had asked how much it cost, minimum cost to study in an abroad.
Okay, Sukesh, actually the minimum cost would be around 8 lakhs for any particular course, and it ranges up to, even 30 lakhs also per annum, because based on the university, based on the country, based on the course which you select. So these three things are very, very important when you select. So that's the main reason we ask you to do a lot of homework on those things, because just by the ranking, just by the, because of the popularity of the universities, you never go by the that one process. There are typical, universities which are good at the subject levels also. If you say a course like, say, AI, artificial intelligence, so there are universities which are highly ranked for those particular courses. So we will be able to choose you the right fit of universities for you for this particular program. So that is one other reason why you need to sit with the counselors and understand why you need to select these universities. So again, there are internships also inbuilt with certain universities with their courses. So that also is one thing which is very, very important to, choose a university. So usually the minimum cost would be around 8 lakhs to 10 lakhs per annum. And as I said, you can do a part-time job during your studies. So up to 20 hours per week, you can work, as I said. So usually the earning capacity would be around 80,000 to 1 lakh during your part-time job itself. So that will suffice for your living expenses, because living expenses would be costing you around 40 to 50,000 per month only over there. And rest would be, if you save it, it will help you, to repay the fees also, what you have taken as a loan, or you've taken from your father or your relatives as a money for which is borrowed. Also, you can be able to settle down within a year or two. So that is how you usually manage your living expenses and your studies over there. So most of the students go, I think at least 90% students go for a part-time job if they go for a study in these particular countries, because you get to network a lot during your part-time job opportunities. You will learn a lot. That's what are the jobs you can do in that particular country, how you can do that, and all those things will be a very good eye opener for you if you're studying over there. Thanks for the question anyways. And most of the banks are also offering you loans, and the scholarships, as I said, that is also again a money earned, I would say. So if you get a scholarship, hands-on scholarship, you will also get a very good amount for fees which is reduced. Yes, Sharmila, you were able to ask something.
Students, any more questions?
As I said, my mail ID is also being given over there. If you feel shy, you can also mail me regarding any questions. Any silly questions also, please feel free to ask me. It's because it's going to be a knowledge base only. What are the documents required? Very good. Sukesh, usually the documents required for an application packet is the academic documents. Your 10th, 12th, bachelor, semester-wise mark sheets are required. The Xerox copies only are sent to the universities. So we need to, attest it as a counselor, and we need to send it out. And then next would be the IELTS scorecard. If you're written the IELTS, yes, you can keep the IELTS scorecard, or else IELTS also can be sent after your application is done. So next would be the passport copy, which is very, very important. And next is the letter of recommendation from your college professors. So 2 letter of recommendation. This is usually done for UK and US universities. And next would be the statement of purpose. It's an essay written to the university to show your intent to study over there. So these are the 5 important documents required. Case by case basis, if you're going for an arts and design course, you would require a portfolio and a resume also. Very good. That's a very good question. Please request you to also others also to ask.
Ma'am, some of the students are attending through the class, so they can't chat or speak.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Not an issue, ma'am. Maybe it was useful for the students. I do not know. Just give me a feedback from your end, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Really very useful for our students.
Thanks.
Thank you for your valuable information, ma'am. You have explained so well.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. So now, vote of thanks. I call Harini Sekti of 3rd BSc Computer Technology, the student coordinator of the Higher Education Club, to deliver the vote of thanks.
On behalf of Department of Computer Technology and Information Technology, Higher Education Club, I express my profound gratitude to thank our head of the department and all staff members who has helped us in organizing this function in a successful manner. I extend a hearty thanks to our chief guest, Ms. Deepa Srinivasan, branch head of IDP Education Coimbatore, who spared time from her busiest schedule to grace the occasion. Today we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts, and this will surely be going to encourage us in our future events. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome. That's a nice. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am.
My pleasure, ma'am. Thanks all, and you can feel free to write to me or may message me also as well. See you soon. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am.